Amy, and this is Jack. We're from MOR Motorsport. We race a trophy truck, but today we're here to take you through heat wrap.
That's right, Amy. So we've teamed up with our friends at Auto One and Heat Protection Products, and we're going to show you how to wrap a set of extractors. The first thing you're going to do is put the gloves on. This, of course, is fiberglass, so we do want to protect our hands where we can. Now, this seems like a pretty big roll that Amy has here. We're going to wrap our complete exhaust system, so that's the extractors all the way pretty well to the tip, so we do need a fair bit. Without further ado though, we'll get into wrapping our first extractor. We're going to need a bucket of water. Here's one. So firstly, of course, we need to take it out of the packet. So just going to take this down right there. We've got to pop it out. Again, remembering that this is fiberglass, so we do want to be quite careful and try and keep those fibers to an absolute minimum. In this way, the way that we found to make it the easiest is to just soak it straight away. This keeps all of those fibers down to a minimum and makes it a far more enjoyable job. So straight into the bucket of water this will go. Now we've got our header all set up in the vise, just with the bottom flange there. This makes it nice and sturdy and gives us somewhere to work from, basically. We can then take our wrap out of the bucket and just give it a gentle squeeze, not too hectic at all, and place it down on our bench. What we're going to do is we're going to start from the top and then work our way down. So starting at the motor, and we'll finish down, basically down to the exhaust side. But before we do that, we're actually going to come down to the bottom here, and this is to get the length of our tube. Because what we're going to do is we want to wrap from the flange up here all the way down to this intersecting point down there. To ensure that we get the correct length, so we don't have too much and, God forbid, too little, we just need to make sure that we wrap it around. That'll give us a rough estimate, pretty close. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Now that we've got it all loosely wrapped here, and of course it doesn't look that great, but this is giving us our rough estimate of how long we need to be. So we can then just take a normal pair of scissors and giving ourselves a little bit extra, place a cut through there. The next step, I'm going to quickly unwrap it all, and we can begin to make our way around. Something I just wanted to show you all is these little loops that you can see on one side of the tape. It's just the way that it's woven, because there's this really nice clean edge as well. Now for me, I much prefer when we do have our tape to have that nice clean edge up against the actual exhaust flange there, and then when we wrap, the next wrap comes over. I'm not going to try and do it now, and then it gives you a nice clean edge the whole way along. If you went the opposite way, you end up with the weave, and then you'll see the weave the whole way around. So just something to stay mindful of when you are putting on the exhaust wrap. We can finally start wrapping that primary tube. So I'm going to take our wrap here, and I'm going to fold the edge basically almost 45 degrees there. So it's just covering up at least this edge of where it has frayed after we cut it. Just holding that on there, and then tucking it in between the flange. And this set of extractors, it's got little posts there that are for another heat shield, an aluminium type one. So I just got to work my way around them as well. So bring that first wrap over, and as you can see, Amy's actually feeding the wrap around for me. This is making my life a lot easier as I go through. But of course, if you're by yourself, you can just do that big loop and then start feeding around, and then just hold it with your finger as well. So I'm just doing those nice tight loops, and being sure to get that correct orientation as well that I was talking about just before. As I'm doing these wraps, I'm trying to get about 50% overlap. A couple of different reasons for this. So we're in a power sport application. So when you are running a motor like that, you're far better off, and it's what heat protection products do recommend to do. But if you've just got like a street car or a four-wheel drive, something like that, that you're just trying to get your engine temps down a little bit, which this stuff will do, I would recommend potentially just a 30% overlap would be pretty good. Again, refer to the manual though that does come with your heat protection products wrap. As you can see on the race truck here, our motor does have a lot of engine setback. That makes it very close to Amy and I. So this heat wrap, it's really important as it's protecting us from a lot of that radiant heat that is coming out of these headers. Just maintaining that 50% overlap, keeping it nice and tight as we go around. Can start to get a little bit tricky as you go in between tubes and things like that. That's okay. Same thing, we'll just do a little fold. And that worked out quite nicely being tucked into there. So now, of course, I've got Amy here that could hold it for me, but if you are by yourself, not a bad trick is just to grab a cable tie. And of course, these will not survive for very long at all on the exhaust. But what it enabled us to do, so we've got a cable tie there, now it's hands-free. So I can go ahead and I'm going to use wire to tie these off. But I'll just leave the cable tie there and I can continue on with the next tube.
So now we've done our 4 primary tubes and had a blackout, we're moving on to the junction here, and we've already measured those out because we've showed you that already, and now we're just going to get straight to it. This one's done. We're just going to cut the zip ties off here because we don't want to include those in the wrap, and then we'll apply this one.
So we totally meant to make this too short as a demonstration as to what you've done when it is too short.
We're going to make out we meant this as a demonstration.
Like 100% demonstration purposes, we didn't stuff this up. So all I'm doing is I'm pinning it there and we're just going to take, so I've looped it over itself, and we're just going to take a bit more of the tape and we can continue it on. But when we come back, we're going to make sure that we wire it here as well so it doesn't become a weak point.
Coffee break.
We've finished our coffee breaks, we're on to wiring. So I've got these pieces cut off at about 500. They are a little bit long, but there's method to my madness. Now this is quite small wire, so I like to go around 3 times. So I end up with 3 loops, and then finishing at the bottom. It's probably going to be very awkward the way that I've got it in the vise, but we'll work it out. So making sure they're nice and tight. And then just twisting it off at the bottom there. So that's held just there. I am going to quickly knock it out of the vise. And then this way I can get my pliers, give it a nice tug. And I can twist that nice and tight. Now if I find my other pliers, here they are. Get in there, snip the end off, get rid of that sharp bit. And then I can just push that down out of the way. So that leaves us with just a nice finish there, just the wires, nothing like that. You can also use the stainless steel ties. I just prefer to use the wires. It's up to you really. But yeah, so that's our first primary done there. We're going to continue on and we'll do the wiring across the top of each of these tubes, and then both of our intersections, then of course replace the cable tie down the bottom here with wire as well. We'll go through and do that now. Alright, while we've been going through and doing this one, Eddie's been doing other one for me. How you going, buddy? You almost done? Oh, you're all finished? You're a good boy. Thank you. Cheers, mate.
Good boy. We're all done now with our headers, the wrap is on, and And honestly, even though it's tedious, it's a job well worth doing. This heat protection products, especially the wrap, really hold that radiant heat in and makes it great for any application, not just racing.
That's right, Amy. So we've obviously done our headers now, but we're going to go through and do the rest of our exhaust system. Just the way the truck's set up, this protects all of our hoses, electrical systems, all those sorts of things. So it's all good. Now, we're going to talk to you next time about our heat shield mat. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
Thank you. And if you have any questions about this process, you can leave them in the comments below, or you'll find us on Facebook and Instagram as MOR Motorsport.
Alright guys, thanks so much for watching.
Bye!